Hi everyone, it's Tina Newby here with Florida Luxury Realty. Welcome to another segment of Tina Talks. And today I have attorney Mai Vu, who specializes in personal injury from Acer Group, joining us today. Let's welcome her. Hi Mai, how are you?
Hi Tina, thank you so much for having me on Tina Talks.
Thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your law firm?
Sure, my name is Mai Vu and I'm the founder of Acer Group. I've been practicing law for about 10 years now in the Tampa Bay area. At Acer Group, we focus on handling personal injury cases. So if you're hurt in an auto accident or if you had a slip and fall, then we help you handle and deal with the insurance company on that.
Okay. Speaking of insurance, especially right now with what's going on, is there anything that you want people to know about insurance and that will help your clients better?
Yes, absolutely. I urge you to go and review your insurance policy. It's called the declaration page, and if you don't have it, you can just a lot of your insurance company will have it online. Log on and download something called declaration page. It should look similar to this, where it's got different listing of what you purchase, and that way it will give you an idea. It's a good time to review what you purchase, what will cover you. So in Florida law, in order to drive legally on the road, all you have to do is purchase 10,000 of property damage coverage for someone that you caused the accident to, and also a minimum of 10,000 of PIP insurance, which is if you're hurt in an accident, doesn't matter whose fault, who caused the accident, you automatically will get up to $10,000 to pay to the medical clinics, the hospital bills. Now, if you are hurt in an accident, a lot of time you get broken bone, you get a damaged neck disc, back disc, cervical, lumbar disc. That is considered permanent damage if it affects you and for the future, and that's just not repairable unless you go through surgeries. And that type of damages, you're not going to get covered if someone purchased the minimum state limit, caused an accident to you, an injury to you, you're out of luck. You can't pursue their insurance coverage if they didn't purchase the additional bodily injury section. So what you want to do is look through your own insurance, make sure that you have something called insurance. It stands for underinsurance or uninsured. It covers you when someone caused an accident to your car and they have no insurance or they have very minimum insurance. Then that portion that you bought extra, it's to cover you for future future expenses due to your permanent injuries. It's very important, and it's a type of a coverage that a lot of insurance companies do not broadcast. They do not want you to know to buy it, but the state law want consumer to have that. Therefore, it's very important to look through your coverage to see if you have something called insurance.
Okay, so with insurance, I don't even know if that's what I have in my insurance policy. But with the it cover not the person that create the accident, but whoever in the car for yourself, right?
That's correct. It's for yourself and people in your household, like for your kids or your spouse, or like my mother-in-law stays with me, so then she's covered. Because like I said, the state law just mandatory, very minimum, and really they're only responsible to fix your car, the insurance coverage that they purchase. And most time when you're in an accident, hopefully you're okay, but a lot of cases I've handled, they have long-term damages that goes well beyond whatever the other person purchased. And if you bought an extra insurance for yourself, I mean, it just some extra coverage to help you.
So with that, if someone who doesn't have insurance coverage and had got in an accident with you, if you don't have what's called a Is that what it's called? UM policy. And if they don't have the insurance, then everything is out of pocket for the
Absolutely. Right. And yes, you can pursue that driver, the negligent driver personally. But honestly, most of the time, you can get a final judgment, waste money on court costs and attorney's fees. And then in the end, it's an empty piece of paper if they have no asset for you to recover from.
Okay, so for your recommendation, it's important that drivers review their policy, make sure that they have coverage for themselves and their family, and it's called UN. And how, especially what's going on now, there's a lot of unemployment. People just don't know what they need to pay to keep themselves safe. What is the recommendation that you give to people, and what do you see, especially with your specialties with personal injury? What do you recommend people do?
Well, I recommend people, one, review their policy, two, contact their car insurance company. And currently, a lot of the main company, they are reducing premium rates. Some by 15%, some are as high as 25% of your monthly premium. So at least do that. And then if you can't afford paying car insurance, you need to call your car insurance, see if there's any forbearance plan. And if they say no, make sure that you maybe drop your insurance coverage down so the premium is something that you can at least afford, because in Florida, it's illegal to drive and you don't have at least a minimum of the 10,000 property damage and 10,000 PIP coverage. And what the insurance company will do if your policy is lapsed or become inactive is they will notify the DMV, and the DMV will suspend your license. And then if you drive with a suspended license, now it's become
another problem.
Yes, absolutely. So if you can't afford your premium currently, maybe talk to them and see if you can switch it around, downgrade your premium, at least so that it keeps you legal when you drive. Of course, it doesn't offer protection for your assets if you cause a big accident and it's beyond your coverage. But that brings you to another thought. Now there's so many people out there driving with minimum coverage, if any at all. You really need to protect yourself and your family by making sure you add on that because when you think about it, why are you paying money to protect others on the road and neglect to protect yourself also by adding on that extra coverage? Now, the state law required the insurance company to make you physically sign a form called a rejection form, but that form often gets slipped into a big pile of paperwork when you purchase insurance. You're not even sure what you sign, right? But essentially you signed away the right that you claim you do not want to purchase insurance without it being really explained to you what it is.
Yeah, I don't even remember signing something like that. And to be honest with you, I don't even think that I have policy in my policy. And this is the first time, honestly, this is the first time I heard of it. So I'm sure that there are going to be people that hearing it for the first time as well. So it is important to review your policy and make sure that you have that coverage for yourself and for your family. And I know that, sometimes, we are in a difficult situation right now. Having something extra is not something that we want to do, but right now is the time to think about yourself and your family, protecting them. And obviously, there are different levels of policy, right, on the So maybe you can't afford to do it with so much, but at least 25, 50,000 to cover yourself and your family right now. And then when things get better for you, then change the policy. But I will definitely, after talking to I will definitely go and look at my policy and see what's going on. Because honestly, when I bought car insurance, there's just so much paperwork. And there's just terms that, I don't understand. I mean, to me, I think I have comprehensive, and I think, well, it's comprehensive, so it should cover everything, right? So is that true?
Yeah, no, right. You brought up a good point. Last week, a client called me. He just purchased a beautiful 2019 Lexus, and the road was, slippery, and he, hit something, and apparently he only purchased collision coverage and not comprehensive. Comprehensive only covers things when there's theft, when there's nature, like hail causing damage to your vehicle or fire to your vehicle. But collision is what covers when your vehicle hit another vehicle, your vehicle collide into something. So the differences in it, they could deny you depending on the situation. So just because you have something called comprehensive does not cover everything. So don't get tricked by that word. Make sure you review your policy clearly. And when you pull up your policy, if you would like for me to explain it to you free of charge, feel free to email me at info@acerlawgroup.com. I'd be happy to donate some time, go through your coverage with you so you understand what it is that you're buying.
Yeah, especially in Florida, there's a lot of elderly driver, and sometime when you're old and your reaction are not as fast as younger folks. So I feel like, and a lot of older people doesn't really understand all this term and all the policies. So if you have parents that are still driving, it's important to review the policy with your parent, or kind of go through and see what kind of coverage they have, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely. And to be honest, like if you have a lot of assets titled under your name, I highly recommend getting a higher policy. That way you're covered if, accident happens, and they don't go after your personal asset because there's plenty of coverage, to cover any injuries you may cause.
right.
Now, if you are short on money and you really can only afford the bare premium, basic premium, um, and you don't have a lot of assets under your name, there are certain things that you could go without. For example, if your car is 300,000 miles and is super old, you don't need to purchase collision and pay that extra, because after a year paying collision, which what it does is for your vehicle coverage, then you could buy another car with that, right?
Right.
So don't purchase collision for your own car, but of course buy property damage for other, because that's mandatory anyways by Florida
Right.
law. You got to buy at least 10,000 for someone else's vehicle. But if your vehicle's super old, forego the collision, buy a new car, use that money that you pay monthly to the insurance company, put it in a piggy bank, then you can buy off a new car later on.
Okay. And instead of doing collision, they should think about the policy, so that they
Oh,
are protecting
absolutely.
themselves, right?
Absolutely. And nowadays a lot of people don't have health insurance. I understand the PIP coverage covers your medical bill up to 10,000, but imagine if it's a bad accident, one trip on the ambulance to the emergency room, that will exhaust your 10,000. So you got to purchase something called a to add. And honestly, the is a quarter of a cost to bodily injury that you're buying for others. So why not buy something to protect you and your family? There's also a coverage called MedPay, because PIP insurance, they only cover 80%, and you still liable for the 20%. So imagine a $12,000 bill, and now you're stuck with the two grand out of pocket to pay. If you have MedPay, which is a little bit extra, then they will take care of that additional 2,000 or 20% that you're liable for. So I would recommend adding MedPay if you don't have health insurance. Add MedPay and add
Wow, I didn't know any of this information, and I'm sure that our viewer are gonna feel the same once this go live. I mean, there are so many options that you need to kind of look through and see what's best for your situation. But when it comes down to it, protecting yourself and your family, to me, that's the most important thing. For me, that's the first thing that I have to think about when I pay out. I'm like, okay, who am I paying this for? For myself, for my family, or who? So that is definitely something that I did not know or even think about when I purchased, insurance, car insurance policy. But I definitely will reach out to you, Mai, and kind of look over my policy and see what's best for me, for my family.
Yeah.
So guys, after the video, I will put Attorney Mai Vu and her information at the end of the video. Please reach out to her if you have questions. I mean, I know we only have about 15, 16 minutes to talk, but I've learned so much. And this is the reason for Tina Talks, right? I invite people with their own expertise to come in and share what's supposed to be common knowledge, but that's not the case. And I think that knowledge is power, and I've learned so much I didn't even know. I don't think people think that much about car insurance until you get into an accident, right? But that will be too late. So thank you so much for your time and for sharing this expertise and knowledge. And I definitely will take you up on reviewing my policy and see what I can do to protect myself and my family. Thank you so much, Mai.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, and be safe. And, I will definitely reach out to you soon, and I'm sure many people will as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.